Hello everyone, welcome. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. We're going to be looking at a big storm that could be bringing severe weather and snow to the plains and parts of the East Coast, and we're also going to be looking at some really high temperatures. So we'll see if you're going to get a white Christmas or not today. Alright, looking here, we can see that on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, we can see a trough start to push in from the northwest. This will impact states like Oregon, Washington, and California. We'll see that bring some rain and some flooding there. As we move through, this will cross the Rocky Mountains, stripping the moisture from the air, creating a dry line. On Thursday, the storm will start to develop, and we'll see this move across the U.S. And bring a lot of severe weather and snow to some of these northern states like North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Alright, looking at our moisture here, we can see moisture start to push in from the south. As that Gulf moisture makes it into the plains, we'll see the dry line start to collide with it. As that dry and moist air mixes, that moist air will be forced upwards and be forced to condense. As we move on through the rest of Thursday, we'll see this dry line get bigger, expanding the storm's range, and then we'll see this trend continue the rest of the day into Friday. Alright, looking at our reflectivity here, we can see a storm start to form on Thursday night for parts of the plains. This will start to move through into the Great Lakes area in the Ohio River Valley, and we even see parts of it stretch down to Louisiana. At around 7 p.m., we'll see this start to cross into the Appalachia region. And then moving on to Friday morning, we'll see this hit East Coast states. So if you live on the direct coast, you will be getting this rain on Friday morning. And then moving on to Friday night, we'll see the storm finally leave the U.S. and continue on into the Atlantic. Alright, looking here on Tuesday, we can see that we have temperatures all the way up to the 70s and low 60s in the plains and parts of northern Texas at 4 p.m. And then if we move on to Thursday, we'll see the temperature start to drop as we have the trough start to move through. This will bring it down to below freezing. But as we can see on Friday, the temperatures will go back up in the same area. We'll be seeing even up to the 80s in some spots and high 70s, and then 60s and low 50s continuing around the plains. Looking back at Saturday, we'll see the heat rise again. So we're going to be getting a big heat wave in areas that are in the plains, such as Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, parts of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana will all be getting some pretty high temperatures. We'll see this trend continue, and even on to Christmas, we'll see it get hot, and for the rest of the week, it'll just be really high temperatures. So I wouldn't get your hopes up high for a white Christmas this year, because it's going to get to pretty high temperatures. Now, if you were to live in the north up here, all the way up here in North Dakota, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, and parts of Michigan, you may be getting a white Christmas this year if that snow wants to stick around. But I'd just be paying attention to your forecast. Just making sure that you're safe. I would track down the storm on radar on Thursday, because we could be seeing some pretty severe weather. That's all I had for today. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Prepare, and see you later.